the meantime, there's lots happening with Reliance as well. Reliance Retail has gotten more investors to join its $100 billion club, with KKR being the latest to make its follow-on investments in the retail giant. KKR will be investing over 2,000 crores in Reliance Retail. Prakash Diwan joins in now to talk more about that. Prakash, it's been a slew of investments, right? Whether it's in retail, whether it's in the telecom business, but retail particularly has caught the eye of investors. On this news flow, what are your thoughts and how do you see this reflect into the stock?
Good morning, Surya. So, first and foremost, this is such a logical development post the AGM where Mr. Ambani actually said that one of the fastest growing businesses in the group is going to be retail, and we've seen the results. What's interesting about this step by a very large investor is that while they invested it at whatever 4.2 billion valuations, now you're doing it at 8 plus. So it's an investor who's seen the business grow, who's seen the kind of plans unfold, and you buy it. I mean, it's very, very uncommon for us as investors to buy into something which is already doubled at a valuation which is double of what you did in the beginning. So I think it just kind of reinforces the kind of confidence that global investors have. And I can tell you that this is just probably the beginning of a slew of investments that will get attracted, the business will attract. Simple reason being the scale that they have attained is immensely promising, it's global. I mean, you don't have all organized retail in India put together, doesn't have that kind of a footprint of 18,500 or so. It's something where they have built a scale and now they'll create depth. With each product line, with each segment, there's so much that's happening. So I think it's brilliant. So there's no doubt about this. What it does to the stock, I think to the stock, people should realize that Reliance as a stock when you buy is more retail, lots of telecom, and of course the underlying O2C business as well. So you're getting something which is very distinctly growing and getting valued richly within the sum of parts. So my sense is the stock will get re-rated. The new highs on the Nifty will probably be led by the moves in Reliance post some of the confidence that these kind of news flow will trigger.
So when you say the stock will get re-rated, what are you looking at? Because this year, right, while the Nifty is up 10%, Reliance is actually down 3%. So it's quite an underperformance that Reliance has seen. Do you just see a mere catch-up to the index itself, or do you see disproportionate returns? What's your target over the next 12 months?
So, if you now add some of the businesses, newer businesses that are at the cusp of contributing much more than just being part of the holding structure, which is, let's say, JFS, I don't see any reason why Jio Financial Services in the next 1 year cannot go into a stage where, they start throwing cash flows on, profitability starts adding to the cash flows and not just, inherent strength that we are today valuing it at. So if you ask me, if you add up all these, connect all these dots, whether it's the JFS business, the retail, the kind of revival we've seen in telecom, thanks to, and wait for 19th September, you'll probably see a whole new dimension of growth even there with the Jio Air Fiber launch. All put together, I think Reliance should be fairly valued at close to about 3,300, 3,400, which is a fair distance from where it is. So not only will it catch up, but it's the question of ownership by larger companies in the Indian market itself, which larger institutions in the Indian market, which probably is right now missing. But there's no reason why it's been in the throes of transition, Sonia, and that's the reason why it's not participated in the Nifty growth. And the Nifty move has probably been, predominantly driven by banking and financials and some of the, heavyweights in the FMCG space, but not necessarily Reliance. I think the catch-up, it will go beyond the catch-up in the next 12 months.
Okay, all right, Prakash. Thanks a lot for that. Nischal, I wanted your thoughts on this because, as Prakash was also saying, the important bit here is that this is KKR's follow-on investment, and KKR had earlier invested in Reliance Retail in 2020 at half the equity value. So, that's quite substantial. They're now raising their stake. The stake will now be at about 1.5%, 1.42% in Reliance Retail. What is your sum of the parts for Reliance? Because, do you see this underperformance of the stock end here because of the kind of investments we're getting? And what does the risk reward look like for investors now?
So I think the biggest value in Reliance is basically, we have seen in case of Jio, basically, the split actually created value for the investors. So I think that is going to be the biggest trigger for Reliance, as and when I think the company decides that they are going to list the entity separately, you're going to see massive unlocking of value. We at this stage have a target price around 27.50 for Reliance. But obviously, I think as and when we get more clarity, especially on the retail front, that how they are looking at various businesses within the retail space, I think more evaluation would be unlocked.